I've had some real bad technical difficulties with the live, and I'm really sorry about that. Boy, am I excited we're up. Boy, am I happy to be talking to you folks. I have had quite the weekend. It was a good weekend. I did a little bit of stand up in San Diego at Madhouse. It was really fun, but I am sleep deprived and I am cranky. And I think one of the best things you can do when you're cranky is live stream to a audience of essentially strangers, although I've gotten to know a few of you as I've been doing these live videos. How is everyone? How are you doing? I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be doing this live. I am not able to have my normal slideshow up, so I'm going to be showing you the questions on my phone before answering them. We're going old school, okay? We're going dial up. This is exciting. So this is the first question I got. It is the question is, the world is going to shit. How are you coping? It's a good question. I understand why you would think the world is going to shit. And many times I feel the same way. Many times I'll walk out of my apartment, not due to any big social issues, because I'm too stupid to really understand or grasp large social issues for the most point. But if I walk out of my apartment and I see a bunch of litter or, a person actively shitting, while I am happy that they got that relief in their day, sometimes my brain will go to, God, this world. What a horrible world we live in. I think that's a natural thing to think. Although I do think that if the world is going to shit, if I am to make that statement, I would just say that it's been going to shit for a while because people have been saying that for a while, and I think everyone always goes, "Well, this time it's for real." This time, no, this time it's really for real. It makes me think about that article that was written not too long ago where I don't know the news publication, doesn't really matter, but they published something, I think accidentally, saying that Germany has reached the highest all-time reported levels of anti-Semitism. And many people read that and their immediate thought went to, well, maybe the second most. But I think maybe we started taking those statistics after 1940s, after the 1940s, because there's a good case to be made that things were much worse a little while ago. That's not to say they're good. I would listen, don't come after me for saying things are good, okay? That's not my MO. That's not my bag. What I am saying is perhaps we've been saying things are bad and you can always make a case that the world is going to shit, but perhaps it's not. Perhaps if you feel that way, even if that is the case, the problems are going to be too big for you to solve, aren't they? So I would say maybe scale down. Maybe scale down from the large, overarching socioeconomic issues of this country, unless that's the field you work in, and maybe start thinking about, well, maybe, just maybe, I can stop being a jerk to the people in my life, and that'll make the world it's not going to say, listen, it's not going to save people who are starving, but it'll save the people in your life from a really boring conversation. And isn't that important too? I'm not saying it's everything, but I'm saying we can scale our and I think you should care about social issues. I think that's a characteristic of a person who, is very mindful, but you can't forget to live within your own five senses, right? And I'm not saying those five senses as they pertain to looking at and listening to your phone. I'm saying that little box we all live in where you look around and there's people in front of you. And sometimes we worry so much about big issues, we can forget about those people that are right next to us that may think that we are unpleasant to be around because we haven't showered in days, because we are worried about a recent nuclear disaster in certain parts of the the sub-Saharan regions. You know what I mean? And it's important to worry about that. That's a bad thing. But you also need to keep in mind that you have to shower semi-regularly sometimes. That's all I'll say about that. But great question. I'm sorry to push back against the assumptions of that question, but here we are. How would you get over a bad heartbreak? Well, so it's important when you get over a bad heartbreak. A lot of people will say, well, not a lot of people will say, but some people will say, you need to look inside of yourself, heal, and not only heal, you need to look inside of yourself and see, am I self sustaining? And if you are self sustaining, that's a great time to bring someone else into your life. But you need to make sure you handle the internal before you take that internal and make it external, before you make yourself, quote unquote, someone else's problems. Of course, I'm not advocating for that. That is too level headed, too clear minded, and too powerful of advice to give to people, right? That's not how we do it over here at the Dancers podcast. I would say you should get into a medieval form of leisure, a medieval pastime. That's how I say you should get over a breakup. Okay, so you shouldn't try to figure out why your attachment style is um so deeply needs someone else. You know what I mean? What do they call that? A insecure attachment style. Don't look at that. Learn how to blacksmith. Because here's the thing, no matter how secure you get your attachment style, you're not going to know how to make a sword. And when someone looks at your Instagram profile, they're going to have to sift through and read subtext to understand that you have developed a secure attachment style. But they won't have to do that if they're trying to figure out whether or not you're making a sword. In fact, if you're making a sword, they will know right away whether or not you are making a sword. Okay? And what's going to impress them more? A secure attachment style and a internal deep love and respect for yourself, or the ability to make a claymore? I'll let you be the judge, but I think the answer is clear. Here's another question. How do I get back in touch with an ex I feel I'm not worthy but would love to? Okay. So you don't feel you're worthy of your ex, but you would love, you know what? I'm going to refer you to the previous question. If you feel like you're not worthy for your ex, I would say learn how to smith a sword. Okay? I believe it was the great feminist thinker Bell Hooks who said, the only way to love is to love yourself, or to learn how to craft a sword from fire and stone. So I would say refer to the previous answer. But in reality, I would say if you feel like I feel like I'm not worth it. If you feel like you're not worth it, don't reach out to an ex. If you feel like you're not worth it, don't. And it's not because you're right, it's because you need to realize why you're wrong before you do it. If you don't feel like you're worthy of love, you're not correct. You are worthy of love. But you need to undo that thinking, and you need to constantly work at undoing that thinking. Otherwise, you're going to involve somebody in something that you're unsure about, and that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. But also, learn how to make armor. Come on. We're so guarded in ourselves, right? We're so internally guarded. Make that externally guarded. I'm good at giving advice. You can't deny that. Come on now. Oh, here's a good question. Who do you ask when you need advice? That's what this says. Who do you ask when you need advice? I have several friends for several different things. I have my love advice friend. That's usually my most secure, happy, mentally stable friend. I have my workout advice friend. That is usually my least mentally stable, uh, most internally tumultuous friend. The inside of them is tumultuous, so I'll say they're internally tumultuous. My internally tumultuous friend will give me advice on what to do in the gym. There's the friend that you go to when you're dealing with stuff in your own mind. That's your meanest friend. You need a very mean friend. And I'm not saying every one of your friends should be mean, but you need one really mean friend. They shouldn't talk down to you, but they should be okay if it sounds like they are. That's what you need. Okay? You need a friend that's willing to hear you, talk about how you feel as though you're you know what's the word I'm looking for? You feel as though your friends are backing away from you. You feel as though your friend group is slowly sort of like moving away, and you feel very self-conscious and saddened about that. You need a friend that is able to sit you down and go, "Yes, you are right, and here's why." You don't need that every time. That's why you also need the oversensitive friend that will give you all the slack in the world and tell you it's not your fault. And you need to know when to use which friend. If you're in a really sensitive place where you know you can't take uh any sort of criticism, you need the we'll call it the pillow friend. You need a pillow friend. And on the other end, you need the bat wrapped with barbed wire friend. I'm a little bit of a bat wrapped with barbed wire friend, if I'm being honest. My friends will often tell me that I am being too harsh and direct with them. I do try to change that. That is something I actively am trying to avoid. However, it is sort of a nice position to be in because they won't come to me unless they actually can hear harsh things. It's kind of nice, kind of a nice place to be. You shouldn't be that guy intentionally, but if you are, hey, not a bad thing. Great question. I love that question. This person says, I'm having a tooth removed. Do I ask to keep it to do pranks such as sneeze and spit it out? I would say absolutely you should keep the tooth. No doubt. Let's start there. You're keeping the tooth. The tooth is being kept. Okay. But you got to think bigger. You got to dream larger than just sneezing and spitting the tooth out. Okay. That's a great start. I like that start. But you have to dream bigger. Don't just sneeze and spit the tooth out. What you should also do, here's another thing you should do. Um, you should bump into how what's the best way of doing this? Oh, if your friend's sitting down, pretend to trip over their foot, fall down, and then, oh, I just lost my tooth. Money, money. You're gonna make your friend so scared, threaten to sue them, and then it's a win-win. Your friend is super relieved that you didn't lose your tooth, and you got to get one over on somebody. That's a win-win. Yes, you should keep the tooth for pranks. Okay, you should keep the tooth for many many pranks. This question says, my brother keeps pestering me to watch anime, but I'm not a pervert. What should I do? That's a difficult. That's a query that a lot of modern people find themselves in. Anime is something that I've watched before. Nothing, nothing that would blow anyone's hair back. Watched Attack on Titan, Dragon Ball Z. I hope that counts as anime. There's going to be people in the comments right now who are probably going to say that I'm an idiot and that's not actually anime and I'm stupid, and that's fine. But I liked Attack on Titan and I liked Dragon Ball Z. Sometimes I'll venture out into other forms of anime. And the issue with anime, if you're trying to get into it, is sometimes the perversion sneaks up on you. And you'll get 3 episodes in before you realize, oh, this is made for old gentlemen to sort of to pleasure their needs to, let's just say. I tried to use a euphemism, but it just ended up sounding grosser than anything direct would have been. For old gentlemen to pleasure their needs to, that's way worse than just saying jacking off. But that's where I went with. Okay. So that's what I'm sticking to. You gotta, you gotta just check. You gotta just go online. Here's what you do. If you want to check out if an anime is perverted or not, it's not accurate enough to just read the back of it. You can't really, it'll be going through 15 minutes of perfect action sequent Gangnam stuff, and then for some reason cut straight to a hot springs in Japan, where for some reason two women are bathing each other and focusing only on the tits. Not to say that that's bad. Hey, listen, if that's what you're interested in, if that's what you're in for, great. And I hope that you find pleasure in that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But if you're not looking for that, I would say go online and search in whatever the name of the anime is, and then best scenes. Just type in best scenes. It doesn't have to be scenes with nudity or whatever. Just type in best scenes. You will find the ones with nudity by doing that. That's all you need. Just type in best scenes because people who watch anime, many of them are good, hardworking, salt of the earth people who get a bad rap because it just so happens the thing that they like has fallen under this like social, I won't say witch hunt, but like this sort of thing where people don't seem to accept anime as a art form. And I think because of the more annoying watchers of it. This is the same with things that I like. I like watching mixed martial arts. Do I go to Hollywood parties and tell people that? No. No. Do you know why? Because mixed martial arts in many ways has been ruined by its most annoying fans. People who will go on Twitter after someone loses a fight and say, "You deserve that, bitch." That's not a cool guy to be. You shouldn't be that person, by the way. If you do that, I have huge problems with you. Okay? And one of you may see this video and decide to punch me in public and then go on Twitter and say, "You deserve that, bitch." And just know, I have feelings. Okay? But it's tough. It's tough when you like something that is, let's say, a hot button topic. Adult Disney fans, right? Now, I've had my share of problems with certain adult Disney fans. That's not to say that the whole community is bad at all. I don't mean to say that in any way, right? Oh, someone in the chat just says it's my birthday. What's up? Happy birthday, Maddie. I'm talking about how annoying people within fan groups can annoy or can ruin that group for everyone. And can ruin the thing you're a fan of because instead of sharing with your friends, "Oh, I'm a fan of this, I'm a fan of that," you have to be a little cautious. You got to be a little tight-lipped, right? Because when you are a fan of something with an annoying contingent, you're going to have to field some questions, right? If you're an anime fan, you're going to have to field the questions, do you watch the tentacle ones? And you may have to say, no, no, I mean, I just like the art form. Tough situation to be in, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're a fan of something like that. When I say I'm an MMA fan, I usually get the questions, do you watch it to watch men shirtless rubbing up against each other? And I have to say, well, not in a sexual way, but I mean objectively, yes, that is what I'm watching. That is what I like, but it's not in a sexual way. I just like half guard, right? I'm just a fan of half guard. It doesn't necessarily have to do with the bodies rubbing against each other, but is that a part of it? I can't say no. I can't say no. All right? It's a part of it. You dirty, dirty and fucking I can't believe people would ask that. I don't like that. I don't like the implication that watching mixed martial arts is gay. And it's because it puts gay into this like negative frame where it's like, yeah, I mean, if I was, it's fine. I'm not, but most MMA fans, if you say that, they get all uptight because they're like, oh, I'm not. I'm like, if I was, what a cool kind of gay guy to be. What a cool the kind of gay guy who watches two men beat each other bloody, and that's what they're turned on by. Hell yes, dude. Come on. Good for you. You're buying the pay-per-views. You're supporting the fighters. Who are we to judge? Ooh, this is a great question. What are some signs that a guy is doing steroids? I like that. I like that question because there's some simple answers, right? There's some simple answers to what are signs guys are doing steroids, right? Uh, but they're not always that accurate. One of them is pizza back, right? Where their back has so much acne it looks like a pizza. But do you know someone who had pizza back in college and didn't do a single steroid, so they didn't even get the benefit of having hormones coursing through their body? It was just actually natural hormones coursing through their body that didn't even make them that much stronger. It just gave them pizza back. You're looking at him. This guy, pizza back, had pizza back, not good, bad, pizza back, would not recommend. No, no, thank you. but I had it. And pizza back is a tough thing to deal with, right? You don't want to have pizza back. And I'm sorry if you do, because you also have the added stigma that you're on steroids. And some people have pizza back, like me when I had it, who aren't strong. And that's tough. That's tough. You're getting the negatives without the positives. Um, so I would say you have to go with the more subtle but accurate ways of detecting if someone's on steroids. First and foremost, are they Italian? Are they an Italian American? Not an Italian from Italy, right? An Italian American from the East Coast. If they are, it's not necessarily that they are on steroids, but they've at least thought of it, or someone in their family is on steroids. Let me repeat that. If someone is an Italian American from the East Coast, they have considered using steroids, at least. The reason being is one of their cousins is on it, and they saw him, and they were like, I would also like 3D delts and a giant cross tattoo on my chest, even though I have never been to church. That's the way. Okay. Another way of telling if someone is on steroids, if they just randomly know a bunch about chemistry, right? So they didn't go to school for it, they didn't go to medical school. They're not that smart in any other category, but for some reason they know nanograms per, they know the word nanograms. If they know the word nanograms and they didn't go to school for chemistry and they're strong, if they're a beefy guy and they know the word nanograms, on steroids, 100%. Okay, 100%. That's the best. I just thought of that. That's the best way of telling if someone's on steroids without testing them, is just be like, "Oh, do you know what nanograms per deciliter?" I don't know what it I'm nanograms per milliliter. You know why? Because I'm beating the steroid allegations right now. It would be sad if I was on steroids and was still this small. But that's how you can tell. If they're a man who randomly has a bunch of science information and they're incredibly jacked, steroids. Great question. Should I take a job in insurance and not be poor, or work in social work and make people happy? This is a question that's going to take a little time, because I think that that's a broader question than you're making it, because I mean, I think maybe if you're asking a question, the answer is insurance, right? The answer is just work in insurance, because if you work in social work, I mean, because I've worked with people who are in social work. I've had a one-on-one special ed teacher, so like I've just kind of seen into that world. Those people are, and I don't use this lightly, like, amazing. I don't know how they have the stand. Like, I've heard a lot of people who work in social work and in this field of like one-on-one special education. I don't really know that there's a huge difference in them. I don't know if those people are classified as social workers, maybe not. But I've heard a lot of them have substance abuse problems. When I look at that work and I realize that they're not getting paid a lot for it, I go, yeah, how are you not? I say this on stage. This is a joke I have, but when you have again, I don't know if this is classified as social work, but I think maybe it's a form of social work. But like being a one-on-one special ed teacher, you're getting like punched every day. You're not making boxer money, but you're having a boxer's experience. You're getting punched, you're getting kicked, you're getting bit. You're not just getting a boxer's experience. You're spending all day with a tiny Mike Tyson. You're spending all day with a guy who's not only a boxer, but's willing to do whatever it takes to win. Meanwhile, insurance, I don't know how exciting that's going to be for you, but I think if you're not all the way in the bag, I think you just have to have like a coming to the big J moment where you're like, you know what? I can't do anything but help kids. Let's do it. Although there's a shortage of social workers, so maybe it is good that you want to be a social worker. Really, I can't give you advice on this. All I know is that insurance is also very important. All right. Insurance, if it wasn't for insurance, when I was on my mom's insurance, I got to get my shoulder kind of looked at and fixed. And if I didn't have that, I would not be able to lift my hands above my head because my shoulders sucked so bad. So, insurance, not a bad field to be involved in, all right? Don't feel bad about that either. I mean, I've benefited so much from people who, work with kids because I was a kid that needed people to work with me, and yeah, I still can't fathom, like, what got those people into a state where they are sitting next to me trying to learn how to spell, and they look down and they see that I spelled chocolate, Chocklet, and make that person go, "This is what I wanna do for the rest of my life." And by the way, I spelled the word chocolate, Chocklet, a couple weeks ago. So maybe the social worker I was with wasn't the most effective person, but they cared, all right? That's really all that matters. That's about it for this episode of Dancers. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry that this took so many attempts. The streaming platform I was using to stream it messed up several times and probably ruined the algorithm for this video, but I really don't care. As long as I got it out, that's all I care about. It's not about the numbers. It's about doing something that you like and do something fun. So I'm going to probably keep doing this on just YouTube for the foreseeable future. So please subscribe here if you want to watch this. I'll post it on other social media platforms too. And also please watch these all the way through in perpetuity. Like after, I don't know if that's the right use of the word, but after I post it, if you can watch them all the way through, it really helps. I'm trying to get more watch time. I'm just trying to monetize on this bad boy. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get that sweet, sweet streamer money. You know what I mean? But thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. I hope everyone has a good day.